Hi, I'm Anne. I am a clinical nutritionist and naturopath, and I work at the Biome Clinic. I've been working with individuals with digestive issues for over 30 years now, and food becomes a very strong focus for healing and wellness. Dr. Jacoby and I co-authored the Vegetarian Biphasic Diet, and we've had quite a few questions on the soaking portion of the handout. Also a lot of questions on sprouting, so you'll have to look at our post that goes into sprouting. But today we're going to cover some of the common questions that people have in soaking. Easy to get it wrong, but when you get it right, it makes such a difference in how your food sits in your digestive tract. The basic fundamentals of soaking. The benefits of soaking are to lower the starches, improve the digestibility, get rid of some of the anti-nutrients that can sit heavily on the stomach, lectins, FODMAPs, etc. But when we talk about soaking, we're looking at two distinct categories. We're looking at beans and legumes, and we're looking at grains. So when you're soaking grains, you need to use an acid. So you want to use either lemon juice, but I'm going to suggest using apple cider vinegar because the study showed it was very effective. For those of you with histamine intolerance, you know, you're sort of seeing the apple cider vinegar and you might be feeling a little, The good news is once you've done the soaking and you've rinsed your grain really well, and I'll show you how to mix this up in a moment, there are no histamines left behind. It's good to know that grains do not bioaccumulate histamines anyway, and the apple cider vinegar will wash away completely, so that will solve any of those fears around histamines and using apple cider vinegar. Now, the other piece of this puzzle is using a container. So you want to go, I like using a 4-cup, this lovely big 4-cup measuring cup, because it makes it nice and easy, where I can put my 1 cup of grain, I can do my measure of apple cider vinegar. So it's 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar per 1 cup of liquid. So I'm putting 3 cups of liquid on top of this, so that means I need 3 tablespoons. So I'm going to go simply and then all I need to do is complete this by adding my water and giving it a good stir. And then let it sit. So you've got 1 cup of grain, 3 cups of water, 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and in 8 to 12 hours, I can take this and rinse it thoroughly, and I'm ready to cook. Now remember, when you soak a grain, your cooking time decreases so that you can take brown rice from a 45-minute cook down to about a 15 or 20-minute cook, which is kind of a bonus. So fast food brown rice. Now, that's working with grains. Now it's using an acid, so it's using the apple cider vinegar with quinoa, rice, any of your grains that you want to soak. It's always use an acid. But if you're working with beans and legumes, I've chosen to use some lentils. Lentils need bicarb soda, so it's not much different. Now the nice thing is you only need 1/4 of a teaspoon for a jar approximately this size, because it's really just a pinch. It's about getting some chemistry going. So it's your bicarb. Fill it up with water. Now a caveat I'd like to give you on soaking is that you do not use vinegar and you do not use bicarb if you're sprouting. This discussion is all about soaking in preparation for cooking, so that you've got some options to keep your kilojoules or calories, whatever you think, up in your biphasic diet. Now, something I'd really like to talk to everyone about is buckwheat. Now, I've pre-soaked this. So with buckwheat, I tend to soak 1/2 cup. It becomes 1 cup. It will double in size. And I've only soaked this in water because as it sits, if you're working on microbiome restoration and you're trying to feed your bacteria and get all your gut bugs all happy and friendly, you can actually just strain this, cook it, you're ready to go. But if you're still working with a biphasic diet, or you're restricting some of your starchy foods in your diet and you're not tolerating, this needs to be handled in a particular way. Now, I want to show you where it needs to go. So I could just strain this, cook it, and I've got a lovely microbiome restoration, because a lot like oats, buckwheat is mucilaginous. So it's got quite a nice, which is wonderful for feeding the biome. But not everyone tolerates this aspect. So when you're rinsing, you want to get your grain so that you get clear water. I pop mine in like this and lift. A lot of people try to sprout from this early point. You will find that your sprouts will rot, and you will also find that cooking is, the buckwheat doesn't cook and piece out, or sort of single out like a grain of cooked rice. So when you clear it, you want to get it, and I don't know if you can see that from where you are. I might pop it this way. You can feel it with your hands when you're rinsing buckwheat. Now, buckwheat is tolerated extremely well if you can get all of this mucilaginous coating off. You will find that you can get, rather than 1/4 cup of the grain, you may find you tolerate 1/2 cup. For those of you who are concerned about maintaining weight, this could be a good thing for keeping you feeling full, satisfied, and enough weight. And you would continue to do this. Can you see how much is coming out? And you continue doing this until the water is clear. I would tend to empty this bowl and repeat it. The key of getting buckwheat to be easily digested and to be safe and acceptable in the biphasic diet is soaking and rinsing. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to work with me, I'm at thebiomeclinic.com. Thanks for joining us.